Alright guys, welcome back to Kings of the Old World, Qualifier number 3. So let me fix this. And so we're kicking off, and we've got Happycat spawning at the bottom side of the map on the Germans. Minimoult spawning at the top side of the map on the Chinese. So we got Happycat going from market. Minimoult going for some wood. He's going to want to add a village fairly early on, make use of northern towns, I expect. Possibly. Oh, yeah, he's going to go for trading posts as well, rather than go for multiple villages. So we're here today. I believe this is on Pripet Marshes. I'll just check. Yeah, Pripet Marshes. So this is our game number 3 here. Locked up 1-1 in the series. So who's going to take the series, guys? Will it be Happycat spawning as the Germans, or minimoult spawning as the Chinese? It's all on the line today. For their qualifier in the biggest tournament of the year for AoE 3. So villages are a bit more expensive than regular houses, but they do have that advantage of holding a lot more population. Thank you for the follow. So we got house going up. How much are they actually? 180, so we can't quite afford another one. It's actually going to go T export rather than going for northern towns. Because, I mean, realistically, you can get all the way up to almost 4 villages out of that. I mean, if you go for 4, I think you've actually got to slightly cut vill production, unless you get lucky with early food treasures, but or for early wood treasures, but he's going to go T house instead, T export, so he gets consulate and better trickle. Happycat, meanwhile, just sent his settler wagons. There's up to 5 of those now, so that's effectively 10 villages. These guys do actually have double the regular gather rate. And yeah, thank you for the follow, mate. And I'll try and cast a little bit more, but I'm going to have a pretty action-packed weekend with AoE 2 and 4 casting, I'm afraid. But on Sunday, I'll do a little bit of casting of the 4th qualifier, actually, off the replays. I just won't be able to do it live, so it's just at a bad time for me this weekend. I mean, weirdly enough, it's actually a good time for my time zone, but I've just got commitments to other games already, so I'm actually going to be having to get up very early in the morning to play in the Deathmatch World Cup 5 for AoE 2. But enough of that. We've got AoE 3 on our hands, and Happycat aging up now. Minimoult. He's going to go northern towns. Northern refugees. Sorry. So he's going to get 2 vills out of that only. But still, it does propel his eco forward a little bit slightly. Because he does also have that trading post XP trickle and the bonus to his export trickle. Thanks to, what is it, T export? Behind this, Happycat's been able to go for hunting dogs, so he's had improved food gathering. Now he's going to get placer mines, probably going to add gang saw behind it as well. It's interesting seeing these players use a lot of villages to try and force up quicker age ups on the Asian civs, because I had a lot of people recommend me not do it, but you know, people seem to really be quite set in their ways at the higher levels and actually really committing to it. It costs them a little bit of gather time, which is sort of the main reason why people would advise against it, but at the same time, you do get that age up quicker, so if you are banking up shipments, I guess it can be useful to really force out the quicker eco from that, or even just go from massive army commitment. So minimoult adding his market now. He's going to start getting hunting eagles. I don't think it's quite as strong as hunting dogs, but I believe it's cheaper and trains faster. Yeah, it is slightly weaker. There is also that XP, I mean the export trickle the agencies benefit from, so that ends up being very useful. It'd be really nice to know what export he's actually selected in replays, if there's some way that could be added to the observer mod. I'd really love for that. So, got Happycat's gone for a trading post. He's actually going to use his Eulons to start helping him take treasures. So, Wolfpup, he can use that to scout for a bit while he continues to take other treasures. But it looks like the T exports has now been going towards Blockhouse. Very useful because it's going to be both a production facility and a tower for our Chinese player. So minimoult can really start being aggressive with Keshiks, but he's got to come up against Cossack Daredevils here. So these guys from the dance hall structure, outlaw structure. Minimoult seems to have the army size advantage on his side at the moment though. And he's going to start to trickle free units from the Summer Palace, but it'll be a while before they get in to start with now. Some more Daredevils being trained, while minimoult actually tearing up his relations right now. So Eulons and Cossack Daredevils now taking the fights. But there's no Step Riders to really tank for the Keshiks. Or maybe not quite. Really strong front line here for the Germans player. He's actually not relying on any form of range, and he's really applying the pressure to minimoult now. He's even pulling back disciples. So the Step Riders in the bin already. It's unfortunate for minimoult. Happycat already has a shipment in reserve. Mongolian source though. So stronger Keshiks, Step Riders better raiding unit, and Iron Flails also stronger against infantry. Nice shipment there for minimoult, but we're going to see Palatine settlements, so houses provide much more population. And on top of that, some Eulons. So ultimately, rather than having to ship the wood garden, have to wait on wood, rather than having to, you know, then spend it building things, this way, Happycat doesn't have to worry about wood for the meanwhile while he works on going towards his fortress age. But minimoult be looking to try and get a raid opportunity off here. So Happycat, going to be careful for the minute. Minimoult adding a bit of infantry now. Pikemen are going to be really useful against the melee, and then should any range cavalry or any form of infantry be added, the Chico New be quite handy against those. I think their high attack speed actually makes them quite solid against buildings compared to other ranged units like the crossbows, which are pretty shitty and pretty cost ineffective at taking out structures. The Chinese infantry spam's actually quite deadly if left unattended to. At the same time, Happycat going to be making sure his opponent's not raiding him at all. Possibly going to be able to go for these bigger treasures, but not going to bother at this point because he needs to bring his explorer. That's 75 coin and 100 food there, so it's pretty reasonable for him to take, but while he's over here looking to do so, looks like Minimoult is happy to try and sack that trading post. So Happycat is going to go for these huge treasures. 100 food and a bunch of coin in the bank for him. So he's gone for Fortress in the meanwhile. He's going to ship Skirms and Yulins. So Skirm's going to be quite good against the Chuko Nu. Yulins obviously just good cavalry front line for him. Minimoult still in the commerce age for the second. Going to be able to take out this stables by the look of things, but I think he might be better off trying to engage at the minute. He's actually got a bit of an army advantage. So you take that back. Happycat's shipment just in time there. So I do think maybe Minimoult was better off cleaning off the army and then backing out first, because he's going to lose a lot of his Keshiks. He'll save a lot of them though, and he's going to be able to possibly pick off the Explorer, or maybe some of these settler wagons. So Happycat eager to chase here, because if he can clean up the military, we won't even need to rally the rest of the settler wagons. Happycat 24 vills to 29 for Minimoult, but bearing in mind the German player does have those settler wagons, so they will count basically as 2. This could be a nice catch here for Minimoult. He should be able to pick off the Explorer, but he doesn't want to overstep with the Chuko Nu. So Minimoult getting his porcelain tower now. He's going to use quite a good number of villagers to get that out quicker. Let's have some pretty solid cards behind this. So there's a War Academy. So if this blockhouse goes down, because this is placed so aggressively, it's not really going to be able to help him much. If his opponent starts to push, perhaps he might have been better off sandwiched amongst the trees. But Minimoult, the meanwhile, going for another raid. Is a pair of Highlanders here to slow down the raid though, so that was well placed by Happycat. Adding some more now as well. The Step Riders focusing on the settler wagons. Not a bad idea now that they've got that bonus for their attack. Looks like Minimoult going to lose the War Academy now. May be able to pick off another settler wagon here. Some of the Highlanders have now gone down. Happycat adding his stables once again. Minimoult having taken the last one off him, but now Happycat's taken 2 production facilities off Minimoult, so he's got a really nice push coming up here for him. So Minimoult has that back, so he's going to be training Forbidden Army, so I have some iron flails now. Porcelain tower. Nice resource generation building. He's going to retreat with his Keshik though. But he has got a good number of villagers. And saying that now, he's lost a couple himself. So scores locks up 1-1, guys. Who's going to walk away the victor here? Well, we're going to see this army pop out in time. Yes, it will. So Iron Flails retreat for the moment. Meteor Hammer. Ooh, and they can't really stick around, but a big army there for minimoult now that he sent sentries and irregulars and had that shipment of more meteor hammers and iron flails. So minimoult going to try his best to hold off his opponent here. But it looks like Happycat might have just enough to keep the push going for the moment. It's a single disciple just harassing the structures. Not a bad idea because your opponent's eventually going to have to clean that little fella up. The infantry will overwhelm the sentry irregular army there. So these guys now going to be able to start denying a bit of gathering. Well, that disciple being picked off now. So things are looking a little bit rough for minimoult going into this next stage of the game. He does have his Fortress Age, but Happycat is in a nice spot. He can start adding a lot of war wagons and Yulins. He'll be able to start training because he's got the stables now. Might be able to come back and pick up his Explorer too. So let's minimoult go from here. He's got another blockhouse. So he's going to add a territorial army, ending relations with Russia once again. Happycat looks to be in the driver's seat at the moment because he's up to 88 population, most of it military. Minimoult only going to have about 20 army pop at the moment. He is now down in terms of his eco pop as well. Does have that nice steroid for his eco in the porcelain tower. This will be a rough push for him to deal with. Happycat might even be taking the trading post off him. Army trying to find a way out there. Good number of Arquebusiers and a couple of Chengdao there now. These guys like an improved spear unit. A few villagers having to get the fuck out of there at the moment. A few more stuck in the TC, so Happycat's really slowing down his opponent's eco while this is going on because nothing's really stopping him from gathering full speed ahead at the moment. Well, we've got 9 villagers in the TC. So Happycat's really kept the pressure up this game. So minimoult been working away at the army now that he's got all these Chinese musket units. Chengdao just held back, waiting for an opportunity to go on the war wagons. Explorer fight successful for our Chinese defender here, but our German attacker may have him beat at the moment with all this aggression. More cavalry coming in, but these Yulins, don't know if they're best off taking a fight against that composition, or waiting for the Highlanders and other infantry to clean them up. So, intervention, shipment of units, shipment of British units. These guys should be muskets, possibly a falconet or hussar. Territorial armies continuing to be pumped out here by minimoult to defend, and for the moment, you can breathe a sigh of relief. Happycat's having a retreat, but there's a lot of workers on the way out for him to harass and possibly pick off. These guys are going to have to get into the village, and looks like a lot of the infantry is going to have to come and defend this now. Disciples in tow as well. The village saving the settlers there. And back at home, the Happycat, he's sent all of his shipments for the minute. It's up to 36 vills to minimoult's 28, so Happycat's harass has really kept the momentum up for him in this game. We've now got some redcoats in the mix, so these guys are great musket unit. And it's stronger than the arquebusiers in terms of their damage at the moment. So if they're being picked off, it could be really rough here for Minimoult. Happycat having to retreat briefly, but he wants to try and work away at the village once again. It is a pretty big wood investment, and if he can take out the vills afterward, it'd be even better. So the villagers, settlers forced to flee. Trying a bit of gathering time with Minimoult once again. He's defending well, but he just can't seem to get settled economically with all this raiding. Gonna try and get back on the coin mine. Maybe add another village. But he needs a bit more wood to do so. There we go. Another village being taken out. This is suddenly setting his economy further and further back. Well, it's been full steam ahead by Happycat, continuing to mass up the Yulins. Really not worrying about making any more of the... what do they call it? He's making Highlanders now, rather than the cavalry he was making earlier at the start of the game. So how does Minimoult get to age 4 from here? Well, his German opponent led him today, or Happycat be able to continue the aggression against his Chinese opponent right now. Even some disciples in the back line. Not a very good tank, and they are just going to be a bit of a fodder unit. But even still, you don't necessarily want them getting picked off by ranged units before the fight's even started. Happycat trying to find an opportunity, but there's a lot of Chang Gao there in the mix, and they'll really be able to make short work of the Yulins. There's plenty of Highlanders here as well. Quite a solid musketeer. Very gold expensive. And as Happycat got Minimoult beat here, making a solid fight. Still plenty of arquebusiers in the back line though. The Chang Dao count has really been thinned out now, and so the Yulins and the war wagons and fight the arquebusiers, well, mostly taking on the Highlanders. This is great. A Happycat and Minimoult taps out. GG. We have our victor.